Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the viewers who have joined us live on YouTube now. Thank you for taking the time out for joining on this very special occasion, the launch of our unique, comprehensive HRMS product. We are very proud to announce that we are launching this product this evening here from our office. My name is Kiran and I'm going to be a host for the next 1 hour. And in the next 1 hour or so, we are going to take you on a journey from a simple job requisition to a customer onboarding and beyond, a candidate onboarding and beyond. From our past experience after talking to multiple professionals, particularly the HR professionals and business leaders, what we have learned is a candidate life cycle is one of the most complicated journey with multiple compartmentalized departments not connected to each other or disconnected. It becomes very difficult to track this entire life cycle. From this experience, what we have also learned is, for example, payroll doesn't talk to performance. Performance doesn't talk to payroll. And also similarly, when the candidate exits, a lot of valuable data is lost. So with these inputs from various professionals, we started on this journey to, of having our own product called, HRMS. Today, we want to change all that. We are thrilled to present our product built on the safe, secure, and trusted Salesforce platform that unifies every aspect of human resource management. We have structured today's demo to walk you through multiple modules of HRMS. We'll start with the foundation of the system, the organization setup and pre-onboarding experience. From there, we'll move into the core HR modules that keep the daily operations live, like leave management, shift, and attendance management. But we don't stop at operations. We will deep dive into how we help your people grow with performance management systems, and also how to manage your financial relationships by using tools like reimbursement, loans, etc. Then we will go to the core engine of any HR organization, the payroll. We'll discuss about the payroll management, and then, of course, the last part of the entire HRMS journey, with a structured and dignified exit management. Okay, this is the entire process that we will be discussing. To walk you through all these modules, we have an expert behind this. We will like to introduce the experts behind this entire experience. We have Prithvi Shirur, who is the product owner HRMS, Chandan Kumar, senior consultant. We have Ajit Kumar, principal consultant, Sandeep Singh, senior consultant, myself Kiran, who was also involved in the product development, Vijay Nayak, product advisor, and Anand Iyengar, chief growth officer. Thank you once again for joining us on this occasion, and I would request all people who are watching this presentation on YouTube to start, as we go through the presentation, to if you have any questions, you can start posting them on YouTube. We will try to answer them at the end of the presentation. Now I would like to request Chandan to come over and take over from me. He will start the first module of this HRMS product called the ATS module, the onboarding process.
Am I audible until last? Okay, then I'll not use this mic. Thank you, Kiran. Thank you for setting the stage for us. And it is very necessary that we thank entire team and team specifically which was involved into this ATS design and ATS development. So you can see the team members who were involved. So thank you Zain, thank you Anjali, and thank you Kumari for letting this happen, right? Once we have done that, and before we dive into ATS, organizational setup, once a product is purchased by any company, the organization setup becomes very necessary, right? So as soon you have bought this kind of HRMS product, first of all, as an organization, let us consider that Utilitarian Labs has purchased any HRMS from any company, right? It needs to enter its legal detail. It needs to update leave policies, holidays policies, roles, structures, department, everything, right? So once this setup has been done, then we will enter into something called ATS module, right? Now, speaking about ATS module, when we were developing this product and when we started it in design stage, we were going through multiple HRMS, and for that matter, before getting into the Salesforce, we as an organization were already using another HRMS product, right? So ATS, modules like ATS, modules like performance management system, modules like asset module, we found it completely missing, right? So that was a challenge, and with that challenge, keeping those challenges into mind, we thought of bringing to you guys a holistic HRMS which covers all these aspects as well. So ATS in our HRMS is not going to be an add-on or a missing component. This is going to be front door for our HRMS product, right? Talking about ATS, as soon you any HR gets into ATS, right? He or she needs to first configure various department any organization may have. And then in the department you will have various roles, right? So what we have done in our case is that you already would, as soon you have onboarded your organization, right, and you have defined your industry, you will have preloaded set of departments, and under those departments you will have roles already preloaded. However, organizations will have that flexibility that they can add new departments if their departments are not being addressed into that, and they can add their roles as well. Thereafter, once that has been done, then HR will take the baton and he or she will create jobs, right? Jobs can be created by HRs as well, and in large organization, it can be created by departmental heads. Thereafter, on various parameters, let's say budget and all those technical parameters, if some approval is required, right, some technical or budget related approval is required, that approval, it will go through the approval mechanisms. If approval is not given, then probably a rework would be required, and if approval has been given, then probably a recruiter will be assigned on that job, right? Because the job of the HR will be over from there. Her job or his job will be limited to overseeing the job that has been created, and from here onwards, the job of recruiter will be starting, who will be responsible for candidate sourcing strategies. Now, this candidate sourcing strategies, right, can go through linking it to a job, posting a job to multiple job portals, and there are details that is already populating on your screen. I just have some limited time, probably 1 hour we have to complete this entire, so we'll not get into the details. Probably the online viewer can refer to this video later, right? And to offline audience, probably in the Q&A session, if you guys do have doubt, we can address that as well. Once candidate sourcing strategies has been decided, you will have a large plethora of candidate pool, right? Now, this candidate pool will be subjected to something called candidate recommendation engine, and recruiters will have a recruiter portal to see what all candidates that we do have against any given job, and thereafter you will have on those recommendation engine, based on the predefined skill matrix, the candidates will be available. Thereafter we do have, and from here onwards our AI engine takes over. So a lot of AI features has been kept in the ATS portions, right? And from here after that is either be it structuring a unstructured JD. In JD you may have 20 line items, so skills has to be separated, or structuring or flowing, letting the candidate information, which may be in form of PDF or Word, right, letting that come into system via something called resume parser. Nowadays, a lot of money is being spent by organization in this tool called resume parser. So here as well, we have simplified multiple things, but again, we'll not get into the details, right? Once you do have a resume which has been passed into the skill matrix, and once you do have JD which has been passed, right, thereafter recommendation engine will start recommending the candidates. Recruiter just have to take the call based on the skill score that which candidate we have to go ahead, right? When I'm saying go ahead, it is kind of scheduling the interviews, right? Some AI level screening, 1-2 layer system has already run. Recruiter's life has been simplified. Now we are getting into interview mode. There can be multiple interview mode as well. Here as well, some AI features that we do have. Until now, interviews were conducted in traditional mode, where you will have set of panel of interviewers, right, in human form, and they will conduct the interviews, right? But we have developed agentic models for the interviews as well, where either in voice method or video method, agents can conduct the interview, right? Now interview can happen in multiple modes or multiple rounds. That as well our system does cover. Again, we'll not get into the details, right? So automatic interview scheduling, calendar sync, then slot seeking from the interviewers, all these things our system handles very beautifully. Once interview has been scheduled, be it one round or multiple round, thereafter feedback management can be done in the system itself. And once feedback has been managed, that is whether the candidate was selected, rejected, or put on hold, right? Thereafter the system will hand over information to the next module, which is our pre-onboarding or onboarding module, which will be covered by the next speaker, who is Ajit Kumar. But until now, I think on a broader level, you guys will have an idea on that what are the things that we are going to cover. Now let us enter into the Salesforce to see all these things in the live. Right now on the screen, if you guys can see, we do have certain reports and dashboards, right? So as soon in the morning a HR opens his or her dashboards, he will be greeted with these kind of KPIs, which will help her in analyzing which stage a job is, how many candidate has been supplied, all the details which will help her in fulfilling her responsibilities and her decision making. Thereafter, you can see on this section, you do have activity, my activities, and my events, right, which will again help her in decision making. Now, without wasting a lot of time on reports and dashboard, let us enter into something called departments, right? So here again, based on the industry selection that any company would have made, you can see some preloaded departments. Under departments, if we can get into one particular record, right, you will see that under department we do have various roles. Again, companies will have option to add the department and add the role. Then you do have job opening templates and the job requisition that has been created in the past by the HRs, right? Now, if we can get into any of the job requisition which has already been created before coming into the demo, right? So here you can see the job requisitions, right? All the job requisitions that has been made by this company in the past, right? Again, if we can get into a particular job requisitions, all the feeds, all the details regarding the job requisitions, then you do have activity history, what has happened with respect to that job, all these things you can see. You can also see the stages of the jobs, right? Open, on hold, or whether partially filled or filled. Besides that, you do have certain other information like how many application has been. Again, we have not gone on to the recruiter level until now, right? It is just HR has created a job and see, just overseeing it, right? We'll get into the recruiter level as well. You can see how many job application has been submitted, how many portals on which job has been posted, how many candidate which has already appeared for the interviews, and how many placement has already made at this job level. Besides this, there are certain buttons that you can see, that is post to portal, resume parser, and send this job for approval, right? If HR wants to post, and it is here that the candidate sourcing strategy comes into the picture. Any recruitment happens to be a multi-channel function, right? So here our HRMS is integrated with multiple job portals, right? You just, from our side, the integration is already completed. You just, as an organization, you just need to provide the API and this integration will be completed, which essentially means that this job can be posted on any or all of these portals, right? As of now, we are canceling this. Then we do have resume parser function. At this job, if HR does have 10 resume, 20 resume, it can be uploaded, right? And our resume parser function will let all those candidate information flow into the Salesforce, right? With this, if we can go into on the candidate option, right, you can see in our candidate database as of now, all these set of candidates are segregated by different information. If we can open any candidate record, you can see candidate 360 degree view of any candidate, that how the resume parser has been beautifully able to bring all the information that was until now in the form of PDF or Word, right? All the things, executive summary, then all the personal information, all the professional summary, whether the candidate skills, proficiency. If we can go on the top, you can see the educational details, employment histories, project experience, skills, skill proficiency as well, and what tools, knowledge, and all these stuff that we do have. Besides this, if we can get into the right hand side section of the screen, you can see the history regarding the candidate, what all actions in the recruitment funnel, right, the candidate has been subjected to, right? Now you had the job, you have the candidate, right? Now the recruiter role comes into the picture. Unto the recruiter, we have again given him or her a beautiful recruiter portal. If we can go to the recruiter portal, right, you will see certain custom functions and certain enablements that we have given to the recruiter, where he can see as soon recruiter logs in into the morning, he or she, besides the KPI, he or she will be greeted with these kind of, I'll say filters, or this kind of portal where all the past job assignment that he had, he or she can see. If he has to start working on any of the job, he will simply select a particular job, and then you can see on the right hand side the job description that is populating, right? With the AI feature, again, analyze JD, that you can see this button, this unstructured JD can be classified into must have and should have skills. If I had time, probably I could have shown you guys that how these things happens, but again, for the paucity of time, we already had the test data ready, right? So that was again a AI function, and against this you can see, against the given job, the recommendation engine that I was talking about, recommendation engine has given us set of candidates. Can you see this? Although the skill score, must have coverage, must have proficiency, then should have skills, all these things, the data are missing right now. However, again, another AI function that I would like to show, you can see that as soon the candidates were selected, and as soon we clicked on something called analyze score, all the candidate, all the skill scores, must have coverage and must have proficiency and all those stuff has already populated, right? Now here the recruiter, based on the skill score, you do have skill sets as well, and this is directly, all these things are completely dynamic, right? This is directly coming from their resume in the real time. Now recruiter, based on the skill scores, can take the decision that, hey, the skill score of this candidate is not so good, so probably I would not like to go ahead with this candidate. If he or she does have certain thresholds into the mind, right, he can take that. As of now, let us consider that this candidate happens to be best, and if I want to create an application or let this candidate move forward further into the funnel, we can do that as well. Again, I'll get to the test record, test data. If we can scroll up, you can see certain candidate which has already been moved into the interview funnel, right, recruitment funnel, and those people are in various stages. This candidate has applied, with this candidate we already have shared the interview slot. With this candidate we already have shared interview schedule. So various stages through which a candidate might go before the selection, all those stages, then how many days it has been in funnel, how many days in a particular status, all these data, right? Then there are certain enablement buttons that you can see, schedule interview and create placement. So right now our system is integrated with most of the meeting management tool, that is be it Zoom, be it Gmeet, or be it your Teams, right? Whether it is an offline interview, whether it is an online interview, all these things, whatever levels of interview, be it HR, be it technical, at whatever level, right? So all the levels of the interview, all the stages, the idea that I want to present to you guys is that this ATS is completely configurable. Right now it is addressing just maybe 1 or 2 rounds of interview, but if your organization does require multiple levels of interview that as well this ATS is capable to portal. Now, without wasting a lot of time, let's say interview has been completed, feedback has to be managed, right? So we trigger to the interview, we can trigger emails, we can trigger WhatsApp messages, and through that the interviewer can give his or her feedback through their email or through their WhatsApp as well, right? Now let us consider that the feedback has been gathered. Then the candidate might be marked as placed. A candidate might be selected and placement record can be created. And from here, I think the next team will take over. That is Ajit, who is going to give you a walkthrough of pre-onboarding that a candidate has been selected, right? Now, he is supposed to be pre-onboarded. He is supposed to be sent certain kind of links, right? So that he can provide the document and all those stuff. So I hand over this baton to Ajit, who will take us through the next module, that is pre-onboarding, onboarding, confirmation, and asset module. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so what did we see in the story right now? Did the candidate got hired? Okay. What is the next immediate step which you see in any candidate journey? Once HR says them, yes, here is the offer letter, you are hired, what happens next? I will tell you from one of my experience, which I would love to have that as an experience for any organization whose employees would love that. The point is, it's all about company culture. When does the company culture get started when you talk about an employee? Isn't it the first day? Yeah? Can I say the way I would distribute them all of the assets, the way I would provide them all the accesses, the way my onboarding team do the induction with them, is that what creates the experience for my employee? Have you seen some of the organization where all of these processes are fragmented by different departments? Departments are either not talking to each other, or HR function goes like this: hey, offer letter is done, candidate has come on the very first day, I will submit him, let's say, laptop, okay? And once I have submitted the laptop, I will make him sit for next 4 hours to fill the documentation, okay? Once they have filled the documentation, I will pass that candidate to IT team who will give them the assets. Then I will pass them to a different IT function who will give them, let's say, Gmail or Outlook credential, okay? Let me tell you, I have been there, I have seen these kind of corporate structure, I have seen certain startups, I have been part of MNCs, and I have seen different kind of culture. To be very honest, the very first employee we onboarded, do you know the very first day how things went? This employee of ours, who is our second employee, asks us, hey, where is my laptop? And I'm telling him, because I'm the founder and I'm the first only working employee in the organization, and I'm telling him, which laptop would you like? And this person tells me a very heavy configuration of Mac. And I'm telling him, go on Amazon, go on Flipkart, just order it. Do you think he would have liked that? Okay. And the very same day, he asks me, hey, can I get a Outlook or Gmail account? And I'm telling him, you know what, I have not set it up yet. Maybe someone will set it up for you maybe tomorrow. Okay. And in the night, I'm doing that domain setup. Okay. Next, he asks me on the 30th day. What does he ask me? What do I tell him? Someone will do it. Okay. But it's, of course, it's about two things. One thing is, you have a process, you have people, you can do all these stuff. Second thing is, things are scarce. People are not there. Processes are not there. I was at a level where there was no process at all. Okay. But there are organizations who have people, who have process, who have assets, but still things are not streamlined. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is how do you create the right experience on the very first day. As soon as candidate has received their offer letter, he is in your premise, he or she is in your premise, okay? And how does onboarding, pre-onboarding, how does probation, how does confirmation of the candidate happens. Okay, let's deep dive. So as far as we have heard from Chandan, thanks a lot that you showcased us one of the system which really can help organization hire fast, hire smart, and also you talked about a lot of AI stuff and all, where they can take help of AI screening, resume parsers, etc. That is all wonderful. But the actual process starts from here, where we have a candidate who has been given the offer, and on this candidate, probably what we do as the first task, as soon as he lands in your office, you can probably share them a digital pre-onboarding form. That digital pre-onboarding form would be very easy to set up within a, I would say, half an hour span of time instead of a HR person sitting with them for 4 hours. I still remember around a year back, questioning our HR team itself. Hey, he has come the very first day. Why are you sitting with him for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours? If you have to sit with them, do proper induction round. Do some sort of sessions that, hey, these are our policy, these are the things we work, these are our culture, right? These are the things we care about. Instead of that, what I'm doing for 4 hours, documentation. Can that be changed going forward? Yes, it can be changed. Will we be able to do on a tool like HRMS? Yes. This is how you would see. So, onboarding form digital link goes to our candidate. He fills those details. And of course, if they have already provided all these documentation as part of their interview process and all, these gets preloaded so that they don't have to do double work, right? So once they have uploaded all these documents, etc., provided all the basic details which a HR might need, from there on, we have all the data set in our system which HR can go through. They can approve, reject any documents, they can validate some of the data sets, etc. And you would also be able to see that once they have approved everything from their side, from an underwriting perspective, basically, if things looks good, HR can also change the stage from pre-onboarding to onboarding, right? And while I talk about, hey, is there a possibility if organization have people, organization have processes, can they streamline all of their onboarding process in a single screen or in a single system? Yes, it is very much possible. If you would see over here, as soon as we put this candidate in the onboarding step, here are certain templatized tasks for different teams. And these are just not tasks. These are SLA driven metrics. These will make sure that things are trackable internally as well, right? So you can see things like setup salary structure, manager introduction, induction session, issue laptops. All of these are going parallel to different departments. Your SLA time is reducing in terms of how many people have to help this candidate getting properly onboarded in the organization. So we are trying to move from a place where chaos is happening across 5 to 6 departments to a system where everyone is well informed what they have to do with respect to this candidate, right? Yeah. And once all of these parallel activities are being done by different departments, our candidate receives a proper credential in terms of they would be able to get from the system itself, what is my Gmail, Outlook, what is my project management setup. There are different methodology. I don't want to go into technical, otherwise I would have said to you, hey, we would have user provisioning across 10 different systems as soon as one specific trigger gets into the system, right? So you can have a user provisioning record on Workday, you can have a user provisioning setup on Gmail, you can have something on, let's say, Outlook, you can have something set up on HRMS or payroll credentials itself, right? Now once that is done, for each and every organization, of course, not for senior roles and all, but mostly what organization follow as a practice, initially they will put the candidate on probation. Okay? You might have heard a lot about performance management systems and all. Let me ask you this. When does actual performance management starts? Is it when your probation is complete, or is it the very first day when you get into probation? Right? So probably people have a feeling that, hey, it will get started once I'm confirmed in this organization. No. while you get into probation, your performance management system generally gets kicked in. Okay. So what we are going to showcase you right now is our employee portal. On employee portal, now candidate has filled their pre-onboarding form, they have submitted all the documents, etc. Everything is done. Now they would be able to see their profile. They would be able to see everything associated, like what all assets and all they have been given. Okay. And it's not about asset management and all. It's all about making sure that the candidate has a view where they can raise any request. They can see all the details. A single employee 360 kind of setup. And of course, from here we will talk about loads of things, though assets are costly affair, but at the same time, we have ensured that with respect to entire employee engagement, entire asset life cycle could be managed on a platform like Salesforce, right? They can request asset, they can put a request for modification, they can put a request for some breakdown in assets. Any sort of organization, whosoever is delivering certain assets like laptop, mobile, if there are any malfunctions and all, those requests can be raised. Okay, and of course, all of the assets, issues which can come to your IT team or may be routed to your vendor, specific vendor. We generally get, let's say for example, laptop on the lease. If a problem arises, if an employee puts down a request, where does those request goes? Probably it could be routed to any vendor specific thing. And okay, so this was from an asset point of view. Okay, now we would move to our entire team in terms of whom you are reporting to, who is your manager, what manager can do, right? Now, the point is also, like I said, your performance generally gets mapped on the very first day if you are under the probation. So our system will support you with certain kinds of templatized structure according to different job roles. What kind of insights a manager can capture from, let's say, 30 days, 60 days or 90-day period of probation with respect to this candidate, and what kind of feedbacks they can give. Probably they will be the torch bearer in terms of, hey, whether this candidate needs to be confirmed, whether they have their probation period has to be extended, or maybe we would not like to continue with them. We would have to initiate an exit process then and there itself. So all of those configurations are already available in the hands of a manager or any superior who is like a reporting manager to them. Right? So post that, once manager has put their details, their feedbacks, etc., the candidate gets into confirmed stage, and this is the time where we would be able to say that, hey, we were able to deliver a very good experience to the candidate, not after probation, not after 90 days, but we started with a good experience on the very first day. We made sure that different team who used to work on the onboarding journey or roadmap of the candidate were very much streamlined. They had SLA-driven metrics set up in the system. Parallel processing were going on to make sure that this candidate has a good experience in our first day in our company, right? And also, it's not about being process orchestration in the right manner. It's also about tagging right SLAs, making sure we have right accountability with respect to different tasks which goes into the organization to have a smooth journey for this candidate. And it's also trackable and compliant, right? I think this is it. Sorry. Okay. So I would call upon Mr. Prithvi for next round of day-to-day workforce management related aspect, which are leave, attendance, and shift management.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible there? Okay. Thank you very much, Ajit and Chandan, for setting up the foundation of how the platform works. So here is our team. So I'll be taking you guys through leave, attendance, and shift management. Wherein, if I talk about leave management, any organization requires a admin level configuration, right? Wherein HR or an organization admin will go and configure certain leave types, right? And also, Vijay, can you take that? Okay, so Chandan had given us a walkthrough, like how do we go and configure initial organization data. But let me speak specific to leave types. So any organization will have dedicated leave types that has to be configured. The very as an user, maybe we will go and configure casual leave, compensatory off, and other leaves, and then we configure something called leave structures. Right? Leave structures are nothing but we create different structures. For example, let's say if we have an accrual leaves, right? For example, every quarterly we have to add some 2 or 3 leaves to an employee, right? Basis that we create leave structures and we can assign leave structures to an employee, right? So till now what we have seen how an employee data and core HRMS workflows come together. But now let us put that in terms of employee experience, how do they go and use the employee portal and how do they go and apply leaves, right? For example, as a employee, I'll have to log in to my portal, and then we have an option called leaves, wherein I can go and supply whether I have to apply for a casual leave or I have to apply for a compensatory leave, any sort of leaves. And then maybe once I submit the form, I'll have to submit the leave request, right? So when I submit the leave request, the very next step is it will send a approval request for their respective manager, right? In this case, now I think we have logged in as a manager, wherein if you can see there's a manager login called Vijay, and he can see the leave request that a subordinate has requested, right? For example, okay, now as a manager I do see 2 leave requests. I can go and see an individual history also. Let's say if this employee has taken any previous leaves, and also I can go and track what number of leaves they have taken on which date, right? Now, as a manager, I have 2 options, whether I can go and approve or reject. And while I do the approval, I can go and give the appropriate reason also, right? So the second thing is, as and when this transaction happen on the system will also send an email notification and in-app notification to an end user. For example, if you go back to portal, Vijay, yeah. So these are in-app notifications which are generated through system, and also system sends an email notification to an end user, wherein they can go and directly reach out to the portal and then access that, right? Yeah, we can switch back to. Yeah, so that's it from leave management, wherein an employee can log in into portal, apply for leaves, and any leave that they request will be sent as an approval to their manager, and manager can go ahead and approve and reject. Now, if I talk a bit about next module, which is shift masters, right? How do we manage shift as an employee? What any organization will do, organization will go and generate specific shift for their employee base, right? For example, let's say we work only from 9 to 6 and we work in daytime. But what if there is an organization who has rotational shifts? For example, they can create an shift for let's say coming month we will have a morning shift, and the subsequent month of that, let us say we'll have an evening shift. In that cases, we can create something called a shift rotation, right? For example, if you see in this example what we have done, we have created a cycle of 20 days wherein we have highlighted as morning shift from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday, Sundays are off, right? So this is an open configuration available wherein, let's say, even if we have an organization who works on weekends, that means we can go and configure, right? For example, some organizations will have Saturdays as working days, or optionally they'll also work on Sundays. In such cases, the platform gives us an option to go and configure it accordingly, right? I can go and create one cycle for throughout 7 days work days, let's say, for example, or another cycle wherein I can go and skip any holidays are there, etc., right? Then what we do, once we create leave structures, we will assign those leave structure to an employee, right? For example, if I have an employee base who works only on morning shift, and there is a dedicated employee base who works on evening shift, basis that we'll go and assign morning or evening accordingly, right? So now we have came back to an employee interface wherein all I have to do is I have to go and click on the shifts, wherein I can see the calendar view. It's like my next month visibility. How do my work looks like, right? For example, these are different shifts that are available, and let's say there's a legend also. For example, here I'm working on general shift, on 18th or 19th I'm working on night shift, and let's say I have a change. Let's say if I want to have a change on specific day for some reason, right? I can go ahead and request for shift change also. In that case, all I have to do is I have to go and click on a particular shift, and then I can go and request for a shift change, right? Yeah. And as soon as I request a shift change, what happens? I do have my manager, let's say, right? So it will send an approval notification again to a manager, and manager will get a shift change notification wherein he can log in and go ahead and approve and reject shift approvals, right? For example, yeah, this is the manager view. Of course, manager also will have his own shift. He can go ahead and visit or see his own shifts, and the request that we had requested, right, as an employee, it will be posted to manager, and manager can go ahead and approve or reject those leave requests, right? Okay. Then that is it about leave management and shift management. In shift management, if I again brief all about shift generation, the HR admin go and configure shifts. As an employee, I can go and view my shift in a calendar view. I can go and request for shift change, and as soon as I request for shift change, manager will go ahead and approve or reject it basis the requirement, right? Now, if I talk a bit about our next module, it is attendance management, right? So when I say attendance management, every company tracks their employee attendance via various systems. In our case, we have biometric device. In different companies, they might have different tools. For example, let's say, what if a company goes and tracks their project management system for their employee time, check-in, check-out, etc. In such cases, we know Salesforce as a platform has capabilities to go and integrate with any external system. And let's assume like this, we have a centralized repository where every employee attendance has been tracked. So in this case, let's say we can integrate the Salesforce platform to an external system, for example, biometric devices. It will have its own dedicated server, wherein we can pull the employee attendance, trackings, etc. back to Salesforce. And basis the information that is stored on Salesforce, it will have a clear view like this, wherein employee can log in and see a simple dashboard, right? For example, if you scroll down, Vijay, so this is the working hours. It's a simple dashboard basically. It shows few metrics of an employee. First thing is you can go and see working hours. So we have a small legend there. It says if it shows in green, which means that is greater than 8 hours. This employee has worked for that particular day, right? Similarly, we have different options here. For example, it shows in light pink color. That means that employee was absent for that day. Similarly, we have attendance trend. Again, it's a simple dashboard wherein it shows on February what was my present number of days or absent number of days, etc. And if you scroll down, Vijay, yeah. So we have as a, let's say if I am Vijay, right? If I have logged into my portal, I do see a calendar view wherein I can go and see what number of hours I worked on a particular day, right? And as part of shift regularization, in case let's say I have worked for 6 hours, but somehow the system is not showing 6 hours in that day. Let's say if it shows 4 hours, in that case, I have an option to go and request for a regularization changes, right? For example, I can go and say to my manager, I didn't work for 4 hours, rather I worked for 6 hours, right? So again, as soon as we do this, it will send a approval notification for the corresponding manager, wherein manager can go and just click on that regulation approvals tab. He can go and see whether it's a really a 8 hours shift or whether I have to basically approve or reject it, right? Yeah, I think with that, I have covered leave, shift and attendance management. That is it from my end. I'll be handing it over to Sandeep for PMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Prithvi, and thank you, Ajit and Chandan. So, first, we have covered day-to-day workforce management. Now, we have to discuss performance management. So, first of all, I would like to introduce team who has built this module, like Anwar, Harshita, and Shambhavi. So, first question that we have covered our day to work. Now, first question is how to calculate or judge a performance of an employee and how we can partially do a appraisal. So, for that, we have to set up a process of a performance management. So, the performance management, as we can see in multiple HRMS system, that process is missing or it is not a proper in shape. So now we have built a system which is completely cover all the performance management cycle. So now we can see the first step to set up a performance life cycle. So performance cycle. So performance cycle we can set up in a calendar year or in a financial year. So suppose if as an organization we want to set up a or we want to start a performance. So first we have to set up a cycle. It may be a calendar year. Calendar year means from Jan to December, or it may be a financial year. Financial year it may be from my April to March. Or we have built a system in a way that if you want to create a performance or you want to set a performance on a half yearly, then you can also create that cycle. So post creating a performance cycle, we have to build a KRA. KRA is my key result areas, and post that we have to create a goals. So KRAs will be our department wise. We can set a department wise, we can set a role wise, and individually we can set a KRAs. So post KRA we have to configure a goals. So particular KRA we can create a multiple goals. That goals we have to set at times. That suppose if we are creating a multiple goal for a KRA, in goal we can set a weightage. So there are different type of goal. Means if we are creating a goals for our sales department, then we have to create a goals target wise. If we are creating a goals for our different department, like for developers, if I am creating any other department roles employees, if we are creating, then we can set a weightage wise. So if I am creating a goal for a sales, then we can create a target wise. So that option we have. So we can create a goal, and we have a KPIs. So KPIs is optional. That KPIs we have optional on KR goal. Based on the organization, we can set up that they want to include KPIs for a goal or not. And if we are keeping KPIs for a goal, then my goal will be completed based on the KPIs. If we have created a, suppose we have a goal, and for that goal we have created a 4 KPIs. So if my employees has completed all the KPIs, then my that goal will be completed. If we are not keeping the KPIs, then employee can directly put a progress of the goal. Let's say suppose now we have created a goal for an employee for a 1 month. That we are saying that within a 1 month you have to complete 4, 3 and 5. Suppose I have created 4 goals. Now I am working. So one goal, I am just taking an example of one goal. That this goal, suppose this is a module, and this module goal he has to complete this within a 1 month. So now my goal has started, we can say from Jan to 31st of Jan. Now he is starting. So suppose after 15 days he said, he can say that I have completed this goal, and he can also say that I have completed 40%, 30%. So that input he can provide in this goal. Measurable. So this is a measurable goal he can put itself. If we are utilizing KPIs, then he has to complete all the KPIs, and based on the KPIs my goal will be completed. So this is the KPI, and now so suppose we have set up this, and now we have a review cycle. So review cycle, we have created a performance cycle. So based on that performance, suppose I am saying that we have created a performance cycle for annually. Annually means from Jan 1st to December 31st, we will run my performance cycle. And so for that performance cycle, we have to start a review. So suppose within a 3 month, within a monthly, I want to review the performance, and quarterly I want to review the performance, half yearly and annually I want to run a performance. So that performance cycle we can set, and once we are setting the performance cycle, that performance cycle can be a multiple against my performance cycle. So suppose I am creating monthly, quarterly and half yearly. So I have created one performance cycle. So we can set in that like a self-assessment, peer assessment, TL or manager assessment. Self-assessment, as soon as we will say that this review cycle, we have to enable the self-assessment, that based on the cycle start or review cycle start and end, this notification we will send to employee that your review cycle is pending, you have to do self-assessment. Then employee will do his self-assessment. Post that we have a peer assessment, and peer assessment is called my 360 review. So suppose if we have a peer assessment, then we will, based on the organization, they have peer assessment or not. So system is dynamic that we can add or we can remove this peer assessment. So peer assessment means we have a 3 option on peer assessment, that because in company we can say that we have 1,000 of employee. Now we are configuring that for this review cycle we have to set up a peer configuration. If we will directly say that peer configuration, that all the employee has to review and has to submit the assessment for single employee. Then so for that we can assign that, suppose for this review cycle for these employee we can configure that these are the selected 10 employees we want a peer assessment. So these once we will set peer assessment for individual employees, one notification we will send peer assessment TL manager TL, or we can say the manager assessment and performance evaluation, and the feedback form will go. Post the feedback form we have a qualification appraisal. So suppose post my complete process, if the employee has been qualified, then we will send for performance appraisal, and system will give us the percentage. So based on my self assessment, peer assessment and TL assessment, our system will suggest based on the rating, that suppose he has fall, if we are doing the assessment on a we can say 1 to 10 rating, if my employee receive a so we can set like a 3 to 5, we will say that the employee need to send for training, we have to improve his performance or her performance. If the rating he got like a 6 to 7%, we can say that 10% or 20% appraisal we have to do. If greater than we have received, then we can set that this much of percentage we have to do the appraisal. So here as we will show that system will suggest that according to the process cycle we have configured, and this is our percentage of appraisal. Now manager can change. So once we will change, that will be redirected to my finance team, that will that is connected to payroll, and we will my finance team will accept that appraisal will be implemented, the salary will be increased of the employee, increase, or we can say the revise of the employees. So this will be go to the finance team, and quality team like a quality for appraisal. If he is not qualified, my suppose rating is saying is this below the average, so we can suggest some training. So here we will connect our LMS. So we will assign few cases. We can say some training sessions, one educational videos we can assign. So that will be assigned to employee. Again we have to perform the performance cycle. So now let's see in Salesforce. So first of all we will set up a performance cycle. So performance cycle, as we have discussed, yeah. So we can create multiple performance cycle. So this is one performance cycle we have started, ended, and this is the active. And we have a multiple KRAs on this performance cycle. If we will click here, yeah. And as we have discussed, on single KRA we have multiple goal. So we can set multiple goal. Goal can be a measurable or non-measurable. Suppose if my sales team is we are creating a goals for sales team, then it will be target based. Then we have to enter amount. If employee is not from Salesforce team, other team, we want to set a weightage, then we can set a weightage, and employee can also put a progress of the. Here we have an option. So on goal we can tag an employee. So suppose for this goal I want to assign particularly 10 employees. So we can choose an employee here. As soon as we will choose an employee, one notification will go to the employee that this goal has been assigned to you, and the employee will able to see these goals on his or her dashboard in their ESS portal. Now we have a role. Now suppose we are saying that this goal we are creating for role like a for particular manager we are creating, then we can choose a manager. Here multiple roles we can choose. So for this particular goal we can assign to multiple department as well. So one time we can choose one. Suppose this goal if I want to assign to HR quality, then I can directly put here. So this goal will be assigned, and we can also set a KPIs for this goal, and these KPIs will tag to the each goal, and all employees will able to see this goal with these KPIs. So this KPI we can set, and if we have a KPI, then we have to fill the complete the KPIs, and post that we can means employee only able to close the goal. And all goal we have a date, like we are setting 1st Jan to 31st Jan. Now if employee is not able to complete that goal within a time, then that goal is not completed on the time. So that report we can review cycle. Yeah. So here we have a review cycle. So suppose we have created a goal, we have assigned employee, we have created a performance cycle, we have created a review cycle. Now goal KPIs or performance cycle we have created. Now this is our review cycle. So our next step to create a review cycle. In review, we can create a multiple review. So suppose we are measuring a performance of an employee annually. So or annually we have to do review. So review, suppose we are saying that first review we will do in first quarter. First quarter means suppose in March or April we want to run a review cycle. So we can create a review. Yeah. So we can set a start date like a 10th of Feb we will start, and within certain time we will close this review. So in review we can set that this will be my for this review we want to enable a self-assessment, enable a manager assessment, enable a peer assessment. So suppose if we are saying that we are enabling 360 view, then we can also set a to whom we will choose. Department, role and individual we can choose here. So as soon as we will choose everything, a notification will go to the respective team members that you have this employee is based on the cycle, review cycle. We will send a notification that this employee review is pending and you have to do the assessment. So manager will get a notification, he will get a button to start a review, he will do the review, and we can also set a visibility, an option, like if we want to set that peers can see each other's review and employee can see his peers review. Suppose his peer is putting peer is giving a review, he is doing the assessment, that assessment employee can see or not. So that is a part of the configuration that we can do, that is already in system. So now we have done all the configuration in system. Now this is our ESS portal, employee can see all the goals. So first we have a my goal option. In my goal we have totally, suppose total 4 goals we have. In this 4 goals, like assign and self goal. Assign means whatever HR has created had tagged to him, we can say assign goal, and employee can also create his goal as well. So suppose if he is creating that goal, we are not tagging to any performance or review cycle because it is on goal. So he is creating, he will that will not tag, but that we are showing here that self review. He can also put a review here. So whenever his cycle will come, based on that he can also put a review here. So my goals, in my goals, suppose that we have a my team goals. My team goals is if manager will log in, so he can also see his on goal and his team goals. So in team goals, he can see that how many team member he has. Pending approval. Pending approvals means if any team member has created a goal, that goal will, suppose we have shown just a add goal option. So employee can add, but this goal will goes to the manager. So first manager has to approve. Once he will approve, he can start or end that goal. If manager is not approving, manager can also reject that goal. It will not come. So my team members, pending approval. So these are the goals who has employee has created, his team has created. Approvals, total goals, and these are some other goals which he can see, like a weight is 30%, 25%. So based on that, he can see. And yeah, review. So he can also see a review, and he can also do the review of his team member. So first go on my goal. Yeah, here. So we have option here, feedback request. So suppose if he is we have added this employee as a peer. We are dealing as a peer assessment. Then he will also get a request that you have a pending one review. So we can show that how many requests he has. So he has we have added this employee as a peer in 4 goals for 4 review cycles. Then he will get here 4 feedback requests. Then he will fill, he will submit, and this is my average rating. So this data we can show, and post that all the review will be completed in the so we can create multiple review cycle. Once all things will be completed, as we have already discussed, that we will calculate average rating of the employee. Average rating, based on that we will assign employee any course, or we will send it to the finance team, and finance team we will see the appraisal, that how much we have to give a appraisal, like a 10, 20, 30%, and we can also change that, of course, and that will be. So here we just highlighting performance cycle, that we can set a goals, team goals, like our department goals, individual goals. We can set weightage, KPIs. KPIs are optional. Goal checks in attachment. Continuous performance means we can also enable a peer assessment, development plan. If he is get a less than a average rating, then we can also set. So now this is done. Now I would like to Kiran sir, I am handing over.
Thank you, Sandeep. So, before we actually started this journey of building this HRMS product, myself and Ajit visited a customer. He was the CEO of the organization, and we asked him, what are the challenges that you are facing in your organization? He said, no, he very subtly put it. He said, we have multiple departments, and all our departments work very closely. They collaborate and work very closely. The finance doesn't talk to sales. The sales doesn't talk to HR, to operations. The operations doesn't talk to HR. The only thing that is common and among all the departments is the Wi-Fi password. So we understood what the problem was, and this is exactly what we try to address in this product that we are building here called HRMS product. Like you see, there are multiple departments involved. Now I am going to talk about claims, reimbursement and loan management. I would like to thank Tushar, Yashwant and Sai here for the contributions made in building this module of our HRMS product. This is a very important module in HRMS for a simple reason that it involves, like every other module, this is also, every other module is also important, but this is a little bit more important because here there are 2 departments that are talking to each other. There is an employee from different departments who are raising their claims for reimbursement, the travel expenses, the food expenses, the various expenses that they incur for the day-to-day operations of the job. And there is a finance department which needs to approve it. So the biggest problem today in HRMS is this, where many organizations are still on Excel sheets or on the manual mode, where they fill the travel expenses on an Excel sheet and submit it, and then the employee doesn't know what happened to it. He doesn't know when he will get the reimbursement, whether it has been approved, whether it has been passed, some part of it has been deducted. Till he sees the pay slip, he does not know what amount has been approved and how much he is getting and why it has been rejected, if at all some part of it has been rejected. This tool solves all those problems. So if you get into the actual product, here you see when the employee gets into his employee portal, he can go to the claims section, and he can, by clicking add claim, he can start adding his expenses that he has incurred during the month. He could be a salesperson, he could be a manufacturing guy, he could be an HR person, whatever travel he has done, he can put, for example, food expenses, he can put the amount, the date is there, the claim date is auto-populated, he can put the date on which he has traveled, he can put the amount, if he has got any bills to prove that he has incurred that amount, he can upload that bill, and once the bill is uploaded, he can save the expense that is incurred. If he wants to add additional line items, he can add additional line items, and he can add, if he's got any other expense, he can add that other expense also into that, and he can make one consolidated statement of all expenses incurred by him during the week, during the fortnight, or during the month, or during one particular trip. Anything that he wants, he can add into this and then submit it in the system. Once he submits, it goes to the finance department. Now here the finance department will open the bill the moment they get the bill, it comes for approval. They can see a list view of all the expenses that they have received from various employees in the organization. They'll open the particular bill that they want to see. They can open the particular proof that has been submitted along with that. They can check whether it is genuine or not. Any forgery is there, and then if everything is okay, if it is within the rules of the policy of the organization, based on the level that employee belongs to, they can either approve it or reject it. They can deduct if they want to deduct. They can make the full payment if it is as per the policy, and then approve it. Once it is approved, it will automatically go to the payroll department, where the payroll department will process it as part of the payroll during the month. So this is the simple reimbursement process that we have built. Then we'll go to the another important and what all of us love to listen to, the loan process. Right? Many companies don't give loans because companies are here to do their core businesses. They're not a bank to give loans. But if at all there is a loan process that a company wants to operate, then this is also there, where individual can apply for loan similar to reimbursement. He can go apply for a loan. He should give the reason what type of loan he wants. Is it a salary advance? Is it a personal loan? What is the amount he wants? What will be the tenure he would like to clear the loan in? The EMIs, and then what is the reason? It's a personal loan. I'm getting married. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Whatever is that, we can put it there and then submit it for loan. Once he submits it, similar to the reimbursement process, it will go to the finance team. And once it goes to the finance team will again get a list view of all loans that have been applied by various employees during that month. They will open that particular request and see what is they can view in this dashboard what is that particular employee's history of loans. How many times he has taken loans? Has he paid back the loans on time? Right? The entire history is visible, and then based on that, they can decide whether to give the entire amount or partial amount. They can change the tenure. If the tenure the employee asks for 10 months, if the company wants to process it for 6 months, they can change it to 6 months, or they can approve the 10 months, and then they can approve it. And again, similar to reimbursement, the amount automatically flows to the payroll, and during the payroll processing, the loan is sanctioned. So this is the entire, the employee can also see from his dashboard at any point of time what is the loan that he has taken, what is the loan he has repaid, amount, EMI that he has repaid, and what is the balance loan that is still there against his name from the portal. So this is an interesting and very employee friendly portal that we have developed. And one important feature that all of us need to remember here is the entire portal is customizable. It is the way the companies want. It can be tweaked and made more employee friendly and department friendly also. Now, for going forward, I would like to hand over the podium to Vijay. Vijay will run through the payroll processing, the most interesting part of the HRMS model. Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Kiran sir, and everybody who spoke before me. This is the team which worked on payroll part of HRMS. And basically right now, as you have seen, like we covered so many things, right? We covered expense management, we covered attendance, we covered loans, and so many things, right? So it all comes to this now. So basically now at the end of the month, we need to process salaries. So that's where we use this system. Basically, this system allows us to create salary structures. It will also help us create templates. Then it can also help us generate pay slips, bank advice, so on. And it also allows employees to generate their own pay slips and also define their investments, right, based on which the salary will be calculated. So we'll jump into a demo. So we'll start with creating salary templates. So basically we can create multiple salary templates. Within each salary template, there can be multiple salary components. We can define component as percentage of another component or percentage of CTC or fixed amount. We can also define like PF and other statutory compliances that we have. So once these are created, we can allocate these templates to employees and it will create basically their salary structure, right? Scroll. And we can also revise salaries from time to time, right? So once this is done, we have everything, right? We have their salary structure, we have their attendance, we have their expenses, we have their loans, and based on all of these things, we can run payroll. And once we run payroll, we can see like it will show us details like how much we have to pay to each employee that month, and then we can
see the details as to how this 40,506 is coming, right? And we can also download bank advice. Okay, yeah. So we can also download bank advice, which we can send to the banks for salary processing. Then let's go to download payslip. So HR can download this payslip and send it to employees, or employees can do it themselves. So let's now switch to employee mode. As an employee, I can actually define, I can see my pay slips, I can view pay slips and download it. And then also I can define my investments. So I can say like, I can define whether I am staying in rented house, right? Maybe what is my life insurance policies. Yeah. So ATC, ATD, all of those things. And then I can also choose what is the regime I want to choose, right? So I can click on regime and it tells me which regime works best for me, right? Based on my salary, based on my investments, it will suggest me to choose, say, new regime, and I can choose and continue with it, right? And based on this, salary and everything will be calculated, and taxes, we can also download tax advice, which we can use for processing like taxes, paying taxes to the government, right? So yeah, that's about the payroll. I think now I'll hand over to Anand sir for exit process.
Thank you, Vijay. And Vijay is going back to the control, so I think I'll be in safe hands now. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening in, and for those online, thank you so much. This is the team we would like to thank, Bhumika, Ravichandra, and Bhavana Bhi, for building this part. I mean, not the most comfortable piece for any HR. Exit and separations, right? When you have onboarding, the reality is you have exit and separations. Now, Ajit did mention that, you need to give a flawless experience when people come on board and stuff like that. I think the same experience needs to be when people decide to leave an organization, right? And a very integral part which HR handles today is exit management. Now, when you look at exit management, it starts with the employee deciding to leave, right? And it is for his manager to convince him, check with him what happens, and then for HR to do a few more activities so that there is a compliance issue in terms of getting the person, exited out of the company. So when you look at this module, let us say we look at the employee, right? The employee decides that he's putting a request for resignation, and yeah, that's how the flow is all about. They select a date, they put in a reason as to why they want to exit, right? Using the HRMS system that they have, and when they click submit, what happens is this request of exiting goes to the manager. Now let's take a look at the manager. At the manager dashboard, the manager looks at, okay, I have a request from an employee who wants to exit, right? And what they do is he sets up a time for an interview, which is very, very professional. I think you need to speak to people even when they leave to understand the reason for it, or if you could convince them to stay back. So once the manager has done that, he puts a feedback, whether accepting it or rejecting it. So once this is done as a persona from the manager, it goes back finally to HR. In fact, the whole journey starts with HR. So we finally end at HR. So HR has this is the HR view which is there. HR knows that, okay, the employee put in a request for resignation on such and such a day. The manager had an interview. There's a certain feedback and he has approved it in this case. Now, post that, HR does a review with the employee. There's an exit interview process which is there. There are every organization has their own exit interviews to capture some information, maybe to better up what they can do for employees next. So once they do that, you typically have a template. We can customize this template, and once that is done and accepted, the end date based on the number of days he has asked for or what is pre-arranged, we can configure it because several companies have different exit date. There's a notice period of 30, 60, 50, sometimes for personal reasons it could be earlier. So once that is done and HR notifies that, there is an end date which is defined, and also there's a list of NOCs that the employee gets to collect before they exit, whether it is in terms of assets or any other details that they have to do. So that is in terms of the exit module. That's about it. It probably is the shortest of the module, but very important because any growing organization would want to know as to why a certain employee is leaving and what can they do better up in their onboarding process or look at persona. With that, thank you everyone and gratitude to the team. I am certainly looking forward to using this system. I know today is the launch. I'm certainly looking forward to moving from existing system to this and encourage all of you to take a look at it. And if you have any questions, any queries, highly customizable, do let us know. Get in touch with us. With that, over to Kiran. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anand. And though all the modules are equally important, I think most of us would not like to use the last module that Anand just presented. We would like to use it very limitedly. Having said that, I should thank the entire panel that presented all the modules this evening, starting from Chandan, Ajit, Prithvi, Sandeep, Vijay, Anand and myself, and one round of applause to this panel that were involved along with other team members in developing this product. I think this covers the entire journey that an employee would require in any organization, starting from master data setup to pre-onboarding experience, onboarding a candidate to converting him into an employee, and the employee journey after that till the exit. So wonderfully captured. We are still learning. I think there is still scope for us to add more features, and we would love to hear from our customers if there are any specific customizable features that we need to build to make it more robust and more agile. Having said that, there are a few questions that we have received. One question is, it says whether employee portal is mobile enabled. So one of you can take this question.
Okay. Thank you very much for the questions. So the question was?
Is it mobile enabled?
Yes. So there are two options. Since it is built on Salesforce Platform, the current employee portal or manager portal what we have seen is built on a custom technology called React.js, right? And it is also mobile friendly as of now. But as a future roadmap, if a Salesforce customer procures Salesforce Experience Cloud licenses, it will be customized according to customer license, right? But as of now, we consume only one system to system license and it is mobile friendly, to answer that.
Okay. There are a couple of other questions. Can ATS integrate with job portals?
Of course, yes. Again, to answer that, since it is built on Salesforce Platform, Salesforce has rich capabilities like REST API, other APIs, like SOAP API or Graph API. And any external platform which gives us an API feasibility to integrate, and of course it can be integrated.
Is this a cloud-based or on-prem product? What tech stack is it built on?
I think Vijay will take that question.
Okay. So it's actually a cloud-based system. So we use Salesforce heavily. So it's built on Salesforce. And for front end employee portal, there are a couple of options. We have built it on React JS, and also we'll be building it on employee experience community, right?
Experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cloud-based system.
Good. I think it's a cloud-based system, and the beauty is it is built on Salesforce Platform, which is highly secure, safe, and trusted.
Yeah.
So one need not worry about data as far as the platform is concerned. And one last question: can it integrate with the ERP, CRM, or accounting systems? And is it compliant with statutories, Indian statutories?
Yes. So is it possible to integrate? Of course, yes, because it's all built on Salesforce.
And Salesforce has got open
Salesforce
APIs.
has so many APIs, right? And do we have compliance and statutory
Statutory requirements?
Indians? Yeah, it's all built into payroll system.
Okay.
Yeah.
and all statutories are taken care of. And in case if there is anything missed, we would like to
Yeah, yeah,
add that
definitely.
as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you. These are some of the questions. And yeah, one question is, how effective is the resume parser built for ATS?
So I remember, I think this question is in response to a native resume parser that we had built. That was what we were referring to, right? So I don't know. Because of paucity of time, we could not show you guys the capacity of resume parser. We can have another video. But speaking in brief, it is pretty much effective. And with the AI revolution, it I should not be saying, but the kind of cost that was being charged by traditional platform, it is going to revolutionize that stuff, right? It is hardly going to take 2 to 3 rupees in commercial aspect. If I talk about in aspect of efficiency, if I talk about, right, you could have seen that be it any format, PDF, image, Word, it is able to pass that. It is able to not give you skills, but it is also able to measure the proficiency of various skills, right? So it is pretty much effective, and we are trying to make it as robust as possible. So from best of our standards, the product team has done good amount of research before developing this product, mini product, I would say, in response to what demo that we have shown. But yes, it is pretty much effective.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
That's it, Chandan. Thank you for that answer. I think with that we would like to conclude this evening session. As most of you know, for people who are watching us on YouTube, we are a Salesforce Summit partner. We are a Salesforce Summit partner who are known for our Salesforce implementations. Having said that, we started moving into product development. So this is our fourth product, HRMS product. We have also done Utilia, a social media product. One question that has come just now is, what makes this HRMS different from other tools? What makes this HRMS different from other tools? That's a very unique question.
I have one answer for that. See, over past 6 years of our experience implementing various solutions, majorly we focus across sales, service and marketing. And a lot of our customers invest money on Salesforce to buy a Salesforce platform. And their user base is fragmented. For example, take our example. We maintain user record in 3 different systems. One is in our project management tool. One is for our internal other applications built on Salesforce, and so on and so forth. So since customer already heavily investing on Salesforce, and it's an on-cloud infrastructure based solution which offers SaaS, PaaS, and also as infrastructure as a service, right? So building HRMS on Salesforce will add 2 advantages. One, customer can go use Salesforce for their HRMS as well as sales, service and marketing. And second, it's a cloud-based solution. I don't have to manage my user, create one user account on Salesforce and create the similar user account on external system also. That's the main purpose of building it on Salesforce.
Thank you, Prithvi. I hope this question was answered. So thank you all once again for joining this evening on this unique product launch that we had, and I hope we will have some exciting time in the near future by marketing this product to not only to our existing customers but also to all our new customers. Thank you once again for joining us.